General Boykin speaks from personal experience. He spent 36 years in the military. He was one of the original members of the Army's elite Delta Force and commanded the unit during the Battle of Mogadishu, which is depicted in the movie Black Hawk Down. He's also a Christian who spoke openly in uniform about his faith and his Christian worldview. The secular media's coverage, though, of his speeches brought an end to his career, and the double standard isn't lost on Boykin.
And I think everybody in America realizes that the persecution of Christians is acceptable in our society today by both the leadership and the media. But no one wants to offend a Muslim. And the fact of the matter is, this guy was an extremist. He was a terrorist, and somebody needs to stand up and not only deal with these kinds of issues in our society as well as our military, but they need to deal with the fact that we are infiltrated from within by people who want to destroy the Constitution of our nation and replace it with Sharia law, and we can't appease these people. We must deal with the issue, and it starts with calling it what it is.
Terrorism?
Terrorism.
General Boykin doesn't pull any punches. He believes the Army better start dealing with the problem before another tragedy happens.
We gotta know, as an American society, we are the front line of the thing. As American people, you gotta know who your neighbor is, where you're going to, who is giving lecture at your children's school, what your children are learning, what is being permitted under your governor in your state or your city, and what's being allowed or disallowed. We need to be engaged as a society. When we are not engaged, you know, what's happened, the worst thing can happen to America is what's happening in Europe right now. And that is when the church becoming a dark place and it's no longer a lighthouse. When the church become the enemy of the church and fighting against one another instead of building the people and bringing truth and becoming one body, what happened is the church becoming weaker. And by the church becoming weaker, the Islamization of the world becomes stronger, because this is the final invasion, what we refer to as the third jihad. The third jihad is the final jihad, which is where America, when the Muslim want to destroy the world of infidels, which is the Jews and Christian first, and then everybody else after that. So with this, we have to be engaged, and we have to understand whether you're a soldier, whether you are, you know, whatever your position is, that is your place of ministry. This is where we are watchmen on the walls. We must become watchmen on the walls. You know, in the book of Isaiah, it said, choose a man from among you and put him on a wall, and when he sees the enemy, he blows the horn, and if the people don't wake up, then the blood is on their head.
That's right.
So here's General Boykin talking about this, and here we're talking about these 5 men. You know, this incident happened before Christmas. We didn't hear about it until this year, you know, that they tried to poison the soldiers. Then the underwear bomber, and then this guy, you know, they put him in a regular court. Now these people also from Guantanamo Bay, they send them all the way back to Saudi Arabia to reform them over there. They put them there for 3 months. After they've been reformed, they send them out. Today, these people are head of terrorist group all over the world. The one we released from Guantanamo Bay. Then we have the camps all over the United States of America. We have multiple, terrorist camps that nobody is watching, nobody is doing anything. This is allowed in our country for such time as this. I don't understand why. We know that the enemy are within and the infiltration is taking place, being allowed even by the state. So you go like, well, what's going on? We have to look at it as people of this land.
Well, Kamal, I mean, and you just referenced it seconds ago. 5 Muslim soldiers, that is soldiers in our military, have been arrested in Fort Jackson in South Carolina, and this is just here in the last week or so. No one's covering it, and WorldNet Daily is covering it. I'm not even hearing it on talk radio. Of course, the mainstream media won't cover it.
No, they won't.
Their intention was to poison our soldiers at Fort Jackson in, I'm not sure, South Carolina. 5 Muslim soldiers were arrested for allegedly trying to poison the food supply at Fort Jackson, South Carolina.
right.
And no one's covering this story. What can you tell us?
Well, I mean, here somebody's coming to bomb our country. You know, he's in an airplane over Michigan, and he's going to detonate himself, kill everybody in an airplane, and the airplane's going to kill people on the streets down under him. He is tried just like anyone, like a rapist, except the designated lawyer for him, and he's not even an American citizen. You go like, what is going on? But here's the truth. Here's what we look at. Statistics shows in the United States of America about 48% of American Muslims says we are Muslim first and we are American second. Basically, if something has to take place between Islam and anything else, they will choose Islam first. Just like that Jordanian soldier not too long ago, about a month and a half, he killed himself and killed everybody else, the generals that they are in the tent with him. You know, that happened in Afghanistan. He said, I'm not going to fight against Muslims, so he killed all his superior with him. This is happening constantly, and the other statistic shows 1 in every 3 Muslims in the United States of America believe in terror, believe in martyrism. That, you know, people to die in martyrism is the truth, you know. So when you look at this and you look about, you know, statistics shows with the Pews, there are about 9 million Muslims in the United States of America. If you take 1/3, that's about 3 million. 3 million Muslims. So you go like, okay, so we have to see, you know, like, why is this allowed? Is it allowed because we're trying to make peace with these people? These people don't want to make peace with us.
No.
So what's the agenda?
Everyone knows that the Vatican is the root of everything that's going on in the world, not only the United States, but the entire world. Then they know that they have to start causing confusion on earth to get everybody's mind off of what you're telling about them. They're the root or the mother of every abomination that's happening on earth, God said. Now, you know, a lot of people listen to people. But, you know, according to the scriptures, we have to listen to God. So far, the only thing that he's done is character assassination. They degrade you with their lies. They make everybody think that you're worse than Adolf Hitler and everything. And I expose the fact that they're the ones that are using, once you join the United Nations, I mean, we are the actual muscle of the United Nations. Without us having joined the United Nations, they could not use us to go all over the world and fight their battles for them. And the battle is that they want to rule every nation in the world. That's what the Bible says. And so what they're doing is using our manpower here in the United States to go over to all these different countries that we have no business in. And the only reason they're doing it, they're saying, well, we want to spread democracy. Democracy, according to the Vatican, is nothing more than dictatorship. And so we have to expose these things. And, you know, I really admire you, Greg, because you're a fearless type person as well. I mean, you let these things be aired, and you've been under threat, just like I have. But to me, that is Satan's church, the Vatican. It's the world, and it's in charge of the world government and media. And that's why they exalt the Pope and that demonic religion. And they exalt anybody that's evil and character assassinate and degrade and defame everybody that's really doing something for the Lord. Look at all these homosexual and pedophile people over there, and they go after people all over the just individuals that are doing the same thing, but they won't prosecute. They'll throw a few of them away to make it look like they're right. And when you were saying, or your announcer, whoever it is there, that was saying that they're condemning this war, they're the ones that started. And they say that to make themselves look innocent.
They're the ones who start the war. Then they get on the wrong. Then they tell us the war. They officially say the war is wrong, but they back everyone that's fighting the war is really how they operate.
They started the war, and then they say, "Oh, this war is awful. It's terrible." In other words, and they say, we're against homosexuals, and almost every one of them are homosexuals. I mean,
Exactly.
yeah, and pedophiles and everything. It's like a double-tongued thing. We hate this, and yet they're the ones that are doing it more than anybody else in the world. It's like the Bible. That's why the Bible says that the devil has deceived the whole world with this kind of jargon.